Okay, class, I'm not going to be here today because I'm at a meeting. So I recorded this lesson, so make sure that you have this note sheet. It's on my desk, so grab it if you haven't already. And we're just going to walk through these notes. They're pretty basic. It's just vocab words, okay? So, we are starting Unit 10. Unit 10 deals with basically circles and circle parts and relationships between those. So what we need to discuss with today is just what parts are those and how do we identify them, okay? So let's start with the basic one. What a circle is, it's a non-polygon, okay? Because it has curved edges, that's why it's a non-polygon. That has infinite amount of edges. And there's an example to your right of what a circle is. Okay, so the next part is a center point. That helps us identify a circle. So this is the point located at the center of the circle. And this is also how we name our circle by. So if you were looking at the example, if we have a point in the middle, okay, let's call it just point A. Okay, we would call this circle A. Okay, the next thing is the radius. The radius you guys should definitely know about because we talked about that last year. Okay, so this is going to be the distance from the center point to an endpoint. Okay, so in other words, if we're drawing in our picture, we have our center point here, let's call that A, and then it would be the distance from here to there, there would be our radius. Alright, the next part, you guys might have heard this before, but a chord. So a chord is different from a diameter because it's going to be this. It's a line segment that touches two endpoints, or I should just say two ends, but, here's the key word, does not go through the center. Okay? That's what makes it different from a diameter. Okay? Okay, so in other words, let's say our center point was here, okay? Let's say a chord doesn't go through the center, but touches two endpoints, so here to there. This right here would be a chord. Okay, so it doesn't go through the center. A diameter is a more specific type of chord. So it's going to be a diameter is a chord, okay, that goes through, okay, the center point. Or I could just say the center. Remember, it's also equal to, your diameter is equal to 2 times your radius, okay? So in other words, if we have our center point here, our diameter would go through that. That would be okay. So then the last section, we've talked a lot about when we have lines inside the circle. We need to talk about what happens when we have lines outside the circle, and that's what's known as a secant and a tangent line. Okay, so we'll start with the secant. So it's going to be a line, okay, that goes through, or I should say goes outside the circle and touches the circle twice. And it's only twice. It can't be 3, it can't be 4, it only has to be 2 times. Alright, so this is going to be a line, so it's going to be different from a chord because it's going to go through these 2 points, let's say that, but now it's going to go outside and it's extended outside, okay? And it doesn't go through the center, so it's just like that. Alright, a tangent is next, so a tangent line is going to be a line, okay, outside the circle, and touches the circle once, okay, and it can only be one time. Like, in other words, if we have like a point here, it's kind of going to like scrape against the circle, and it's a line, so it extends out. Okay, and then finally the last one is a point of tangent. This is similar to the tangent. It's just going to be a point on the tangent line. Okay. So in other words, if we have like your tangent, let's say it's here, okay, your point of tangency would be this point right here. Okay, that would be point of t dot. Okay. Okay, guys, so those are all the definitions. Okay, so if you need to pause for a second and look back. But now what we're going to do is we're going to be given a picture, and you're going to have to tell me one of these vocab words that it applies to. Okay, so here's what we're going to start off with. Okay, it says name each of the following on the given circle. So a chord. Remember, a chord doesn't go through the center, but it touches inside the circle. So if we look at this, okay, what we could say is like our center point is here. The chord cannot touch that. So like let's say it goes from here to there, okay? That would be a chord that doesn't touch it, and so that would just be line segment from F to C. And that's all we're doing. Okay. Right. Next one is going to be a diameter. So a diameter has to go through the center, and it has to go through both endpoints, so it would go all the way across. We only use 2 letters for diameter, so that would be, we want to go through A, so it would be from E to C, that line segment. And then for a tangent, that last one would be outside the circle, so the only one outside the circle is right here, okay, and it only touches once at point C, which is a tangent line. So that would be line segment NC. Okay. We're going to continue on with this. So now we're going to look at chord, radius, and secant. So a chord, remember, is going to be what stays inside the circle is the key part, okay? So like let's say this is the center point, okay? It needs to be a line segment that doesn't go through that. So the only line segment that doesn't go through that would be B to D. Now, the reason it's not N to D is because M is outside the circle. A chord cannot be outside the circle, so that's why I can't use that. Okay, it just has to be from B to D. Alright, everyone should know the radius. So the radius is the distance from the center out. Okay, so the distance from center out would be right here. That could be AH. And then the secant touches the circle twice, but it goes outside the circle. So now that would be the full length. The full length from M to D. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at a picture. You're going to be given certain parts, and you have to tell me what it is. Okay, so it says classify each part of the circle that is given. So point J is right here, which is in the middle. So that would be your center point. You could also just say center. G to H, okay, would be, now, notice the notation right here. It's a line segment, which means it only goes from here to there. It's not extended outside versus like, look at G. Do you guys see how now you have lines, like arrows above? Those are going to be different, okay? So if I'm just looking inside the circle of what I highlighted, okay, it doesn't go through the center and it stays inside, that's going to be a chord, okay? Let's just jump to G. If I extend it so that it's the arrows, that would be the full length from here to there with the arrows. It goes outside the circle and touches twice, that would be a secant. Alright, so then M to H, so you have to look at the notation, M to H be from here to there, and it goes through the center, and it goes to two endpoints. That will be your diameter. J to K would be the center point out. That's your radius. Point M, let me answer F first. So if I was looking at ML, which is this whole line here because it extends out, that's going to be, it touches once and it's outside the circle. That's going to be your tangent. Okay. And so if I'm looking at point N, that's where it touches. That's going to be your point of tangency. So we will have more time to go through this tomorrow, but that's kind of the idea with this. Okay, and then the last section, it's saying like if you're given your radius, tell me your diameter. If you're given your diameter, tell me your radius. We've done this before, okay? So here's what it says. It says if the diameter of a circle is 27 meters, that means D equals 20. It says find the length of the radius. So the radius, remember, in terms of a diameter, is the diameter divided by 2. It's half. So in other words, your radius would be 20 divided by 2. Your radius would be 10. And we want to write it as 10 centimeters because it's units. Okay? So you're just cutting it in half. Let's reverse it. So it says if the radius of the circle is 7 inches, so now your radius is 7. You're trying to find your diameter. Your diameter is now, it's a different equation, 2 times your radius. So in other words, it would be 2 times 7, which is 14, and that would be inches. Okay? So we're just basically either dividing by 2 or multiplying by 2. Okay? Alright, 2 more. So it says if the diameter of the circle is 9 millimeters, what is the length of the radius? So you have to identify this is your diameter. That's 9. Your radius, remember, is half of your diameter, so that would just be 9 divided by 2. And so your radius would be about 4.5, and that would be millimeters. Okay. And then finally, reverse it. If the radius of the circle is 4.5 kilometers, what is the length of the diameter? So the radius, right here, 4.5. You're finding your diameter, which would be double, so 4.5 times 2. That would just be, your diameter would be 9 kilometers. Okay, so that is it for the lesson. What you're going to work on the rest of the time is your homework is going to be the lesson 10.1, day 1 homework. I would definitely have out the first page of this worksheet so that you know what each part means. But other than that, you guys can sign off. Thanks.